What's up everyone and welcome to the club. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to draw Mega Pinsir from Pokemon. Let's get started in the center of our page at the top edge of the head. So we start over on the left side, we're going to draw a curve that goes up in the middle and then back down on the right side. Let's add the sockets for the horn. So back on the left side we're going to curve down and then bend that out. Let's go to the right and do the same thing. Coming down and then bending that out. Let's go up to the top of the socket and draw the inside of the horn. So start on the left, curving out. We're going to bend this up and in. Let's do the same thing on the right. Curving out, bending that up and in towards the same height. Now from the top, I want to curve the outside of the horn coming down towards the bottom of the socket. So start on the left, curving out, rounding out the horn, and then pulling that in. Now we're going to go back to the top of the socket and draw the inside edge of the eyes. Starting on the left, we're going to curve in and then down towards the bottom, just on the left side of center. Go to the top on the right, curve in and then down. Then we're going to connect the bottom of the socket towards the inside of the eye with a curve. We come down and then just pull that in. Let's draw the upper eyelid. Starting back on the inside of the eye, I want to curve this up and then out. And then we're going to draw 3 angled lines on the inside of the eye. Let's start with the left. Start with one line coming down, step out, draw the second, and then the third. Let's do the same thing on the right side. And then in the center gap, we're going to draw one short line coming down in the middle for the pupils. Now I'm going to move down and draw the top edge of the mouth. Starting over on the left side, just underneath the eye, I'm going to curve down and then up. We're going to round out the tops, pulling them back down. Then we'll round out the side of the mouth, going out and then back in. Then we'll round out the bottom of the mouth, coming up. Then we'll curve the center of the mouth, going up and then back down. Then we're going to add some teeth along the side. Starting on the left, we're going to curve down and in, line this up on the right, do the same thing, and we'll just taper that back out towards the side of the mouth. Now we're going to repeat this all the way down towards the bottom. Step down, curve across, and taper that back out. Do a couple more. We'll add one more along the bottom. Let's fill the inside of the mouth in black. I'm going to go back to the bottom corner of the socket. We're going to round out the body and pull that in towards the center point, just underneath the mouth. Let's go back up to the right side and do the same thing. Curving out, rounding out the body, and then pulling that in towards the center. Let's add some lines going across the body. Starting on the left side, we're going to curve down and then in behind the mouth, step over towards the right, curve out, and then up. Now we move down underneath the mouth, draw another curve, coming down and then up. Then we'll move down and add one more. Now we want to move back up and add some spikes to the horns. Let's start with the inside edge. On the left, we'll step up, angle up and in, and then we'll taper that back out. Let's line this up on the right and do the same thing. Let's add one more along the top. Moving up and pulling that back out. Again, line this up on the right. Then we add 3 spikes on the outside of the horn. Starting from the bottom, we'll step up, angle up and out. Just line this up on the right side so we can balance out the drawing. and we'll pull that straight in towards the side of the horn. Then we're going to move up in an angle up and out. Again, lining this up on the right. And we'll pull that down and in. Let's add one more along the top. Now we're going to move to the side and draw on the arms. We're going to start with the shoulders first. Start from the base of the socket, curve out, and then pull that in, almost like a half circle. Do the same thing on the right. Curving out, and then pulling that in. Now I'm going to add a smaller half circle up along the top. We go out and in. Let's go to the outside of that small half circle, draw a straight angle line going up and out towards the elbow. Then we'll curve the forearm coming down towards the wrist. Out and then down. Then from the outside of the wrist, we're going to curve down and then up. And I just want to taper the arm going up towards the inside of the elbow, so the spacing gets narrower as it comes up. And we'll draw a straight line coming down in behind the shoulder. Now we're going to go back to the left side and draw on the hand. We're going to start from the inside of the wrist, curve in, and then back out. From here, I want to taper this back up to the top, and we'll separate out the claw. Step down, curve up, and then down. Let's do the same thing over on the right. Starting from the wrist, curve in, and back out. And then we'll taper that back up, step down, and separate out the claw. Now we're going to go to the outside and draw the first finger, curving out, and hooking that back in. And then again, we're going to taper that back up. Let's add another finger in behind. So along the side, curve out, and then in, and we'll tuck that up underneath. Let's do the same thing on the right, starting from the outside of the wrist. We'll just pull that back up, and then along the side, we'll add one more finger, coming out towards the tip, and then back up. Now we draw the back side of the palm in between the finger and the thumb. So right here, we're going to curve up and then back down. Do the same thing on the right. Let's separate out the claws. From the top of the finger, we step down, curve up, and then down. And then on the outside of the second finger, we'll curve up and in. Let's do the same thing on the right. Let's add the wrist joint. From the outside, we're going to step in and draw a half circle, curving up and then down. Now we're going to add the fins on the back of the arms. Starting from the elbow, curve out, across, and then from the wrist, we're going to go up and then out. So do the same thing on the right. From the elbow, we'll curve down and out, and then from the wrist, we'll curve up and out. Now from the end of this line, we'll step in, curve up and over. And from the bottom, we'll step in, we'll curve in the opposite direction. Now we connect the bottom to the top with a curve, going up and then in. Let's do the same thing on the right. Stepping in, just hooking around the ends. We'll connect the top to the bottom with a curve. Now let's move back in and draw on the legs. We're going to start with the outside edge of the leg, starting on the left side of the body, curve out and then down. And line this up on the right and do the same thing. Curving out and then down. Let's add a socket for the toes. On the left, we're going to curve in and then down. And do the same thing on the right. Let's round out the bottom, curving down and up. And we'll add another socket. Curve up and then in. And then from here, we're going to curve up the inside of the leg, curving in and then up underneath the body. Now we're going to add in the claws. Starting from the top of the socket, curve out and then down. And then we're going to draw a straight line going back in towards the inside of the socket. Now from the inside, angle down and in. and then we'll curve up towards the top of the socket. Let's do the same thing on the right. Start with that straight line, and we'll curve this up towards the top, and we'll do the same thing on the right side in the opposite direction. Now we're going to add the tip of the claw in the back. Starting from the edge of this claw, we'll step up, curve in and then down, draw a straight line coming back in. Let's add a trim across the thigh. Starting from the outside, we'll draw a curve coming in and down. Now we're going to add an upside down V, going up and then down. And we'll continue that curve coming down towards the inside of the leg. Let's do the same thing on the right. So line this up, draw that upside down V, and then continue down towards the inside of the leg. Now let's move up and draw on the wings. Starting from the top of the shoulder, I want to draw a curve that goes up and then out toward the tip of the wing. Let's do the same thing on the right. Curving up and then out. And then from the tip of the wing, we want to curve down, in behind the arms, and then up underneath the body. Let's start on the left. We're going to curve down, go in behind the hand. We're going to continue along the inside, curve up in behind the leg. Let's do the same thing on the right. Down, in behind the hand, curve down and up in behind the leg. And we're going to add a trim along the top of the wing. Starting from the tip, we're going to taper this, coming back in. Pull that in behind the arm. Do the same thing on the right side. And then we'll add some detail to the wing on the inside. Starting underneath the shoulder, we'll start with a straight angle line going out. Come down and in. And then we'll pull that back up in behind the body. Now I just want to trace this out on the outside. So we're going to step down, draw a straight line coming down, and we'll add a point. Coming down and back up. Let's do the same thing on the right. And then we'll continue up in behind the arm. And then we'll just follow that same angle going up towards the top of the arm. Now we're going to draw in the back of the shell. Over on the left side, just up on top of the wing, curve up and in behind the horn, step down, and draw that twice. Let's do the same thing on the right. We're going to line this up, curve out in behind the wing, and we'll draw that curve twice. And then we're going to add two spikes coming out from behind the shell. Start on the left, curve out, and then up. Line this up on the right side. And then from the top, we'll taper this back in behind the edge of the shell on both sides. And that's pretty much it. There's Mega Pinsir from Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Make sure you subscribe and send me your requests in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.